Welcome back to the podcast, the Evil Dungeon Master Universe podcast. It's Monday, and time for a new podcast. I'm your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince, and hopefully you had a great weekend of gaming, or spending time with your family, or just spending time doing stuff that you enjoy, because I know I had a game, and I had some fun this weekend. So, yeah, we're back. I don't know if you've heard, but on my channel, I announced that the DC role-playing game from the 80s by Mayfair is coming back with a Kickstarter. Well, Mayfair's not, but the game itself, with the original author, is coming back through Cryptozoid Entertainment for a 40th anniversary edition of the game. I don't know what it entails other than the Kickstarter is coming out soon. I did reach out to the company and the author of the game to see if I can get an interview going, and that will be happening as soon as they get back to me. They wrote back and said sometime this week. That's all I know. They're talking to their marketing department after their meetings on Tuesday, and then they'll get back to me. So I should have some more information about this Kickstarter on my YouTube channel, which you can go to, youtube.com/theevilDM. As soon as I get information, I will put it out there. With that said, I'm probably going to reenact or re-enable my solo podcast for DC Heroes. I had one I started called Gotham Database. You can look that up on podcasting and see what that's all about. I was doing a solo one for that as well, and it was okay. I kind of lost steam for it. So, maybe it's time to bring it back because people are going to be craving information. Because I've noticed the uptick in searches, the prices already for the game itself have gone up, which is wow. But anyway, let's get on to AD&D. Let's open up the Unearthed Arcana book, and I want to look at a spell that is a clerical spell, a 5th level spell. It's called Rainbow, and it's an interesting spell because it has some really cool ideas to it. And I was trying to think of ways to use it in battle. So let's go over it real quick. It takes 7 segments to cast. It's a verbal, somatic, and material spell. Area effect is special, and duration is 1 round per level. So, in order for this spell to affect this spell, the cleric must be in sight of a rainbow of any sort. So that's the part about this spell that really doesn't seem like a spell that you're going to have. Because a lot of times when you play these games, DMs kind of forget weather and stuff like that. So it's going to be one of those things that it's situational based on your campaign, and there's going to be a lot of talking to your DM before the game saying, I really want to use this spell, so I will be asking about weather. Now, the DM is aware of this, and it should try to remember to accommodate this for the player. Like, they should describe if it's raining or not, or if it's finished raining. That way the character can find a possible rainbow. But, I mean, it's one of those things the DM will have to roll and decide or plan out just so the player can have the ability, or just, screw it. Too bad. No, I'm not doing that. But, I mean, whatever. Work with the player. Anyway. So they have to be inside of any rainbow of any sort or have a special component, see below. The rainbow spell has 4 applications, and the cleric is able to decide which one is desired at the time of casting. These applications are bow. The spell creates a shimmering multi-layered bow of rainbow hues. It is light and easy to pull so that anyone with a strength of 6 or better can use it. It is magic. Each of its missiles begin equal to a +3 weapon, being equal to a +3 weapon. And there is no non-proficiency penalty for its use, which is good because, however, it can only be employed by a member of the character class permitted to use a bow. Damn. The bow will fire 7 missiles before disappearing. It fires once or twice per round according to the user's desire. Each time a missile is fired, 1 hue leaves the bow, corresponding to the color of the arrow that is released. Each color of the arrow has the ability to cause double damage to certain creatures as follows. So red is for fire dwellers, orange for earth elementals, yellow for vegetable targets, including fungus creatures, shambling mounds, treants, things like that. Green is for aquatic creatures and water animals. spells. Blue is for aerial electricity-using creatures and air elementals. Indigo, acid-using or poison-using creatures. Violet, metallic or regenerating creatures. When the bow is drawn, an arrow of the appropriate color magically appears, nocked and ready. If no color is requested or a color that has already been used is asked for, the next arrow in order of the spectrum of colors will appear. Interesting. Now, there's another thing you can do is called the bridge. The caster causes a rainbow to form a 7-hued bridge. The bridge is as many feet wide as the cleric has levels of experience. And it could bear as much weight in hundreds of pounds as the cleric has levels of experience. It will be at least 20 feet long and can be as long as 120 feet, according to the desire of the caster. If the bridge's weight limit is exceeded at any time, the bridge will simply disappear into nothingness otherwise. It will last for the length of the spell duration ordered out of existence by the caster. So, it could bear as much weight in hundreds of pounds as the cleric has a level of experience. So, let's say you were 10th level, you would be 100 pounds? Hundreds of pounds? A cleric has a level of experience hundreds of pounds? Let's see here. It can bear as much weight in hundreds of pounds as the cleric has levels of experience. So yeah, that's not going to hold anything. There's no special multiplier for this. I'm looking at it because I was coming up with an idea when I was thinking about this. I didn't realize this line because I was like, you could use the bridge as like a way to kind of get across things, but if it can't only if you're 10th level or 11th or 12th level, that's 120 pounds. It'd be like half the characters wouldn't even be able to. I mean, yeah, sure, an elf maybe with a little bit of equipment on them, a halfling, but a human, a dwarf, they're going to be outweighing this bridge. Anyway, there must be some type of multiplier that you can win the Dragon magazine. I have to look that one up. Elevator is the next one. When desired, the caster can cause the rainbow to lift his or her person and all those within a 10-foot radius skyward. The effect is to carry the cleric and others, if any, into a path arching upward to as high altitude as the cleric desires, and then down again if desired. Care must be taken to reach the place of safety before the spell duration expires, or the rainbow elevator will disappear, leaving those treading upon it with no means of support in the middle of the air and falling to the ground. Movement along the rainbow elevator is a rate of 12 inches per movement, and the arc of the rainbow trails out to about 12 inches beyond those traveling upon it. So, the elevator is able to carry any and all people with no problem, but the bridge, nope, that doesn't work. You're too fat to go across the bridge. Okay, well. Elevator was something I was thinking about. The cleric can cast that, raise the party up. He could see a tactical point, maybe at a mountain or something like that. And as the party's going up in the air, as this thing, they could be shooting missile weapons at their enemies, getting that advantage, and then getting the high ground. I've got the high ground, Anakin. So they can get the high ground and just start pummeling their enemies as they're raising up in this elevator, floating away to safety, so to speak, hopefully. So that was one way I was thinking about using that. The flagon is the last part of this spell. When used in this form, the rainbow swirls and condenses into 7 colored vessels, which contain 7 measures of pure water. Each time a measure of water is poured out, one of the hues of the container mixes with it to produce a magical draught. Yeah. Any measures of liquid that remain unused at the expiration of the spell duration will disappear along with the container itself. Whether the contents have been poured from the flagon or not. This drought and their effects are: red will cure light wounds, orange resistance to fire, yellow cure blindness, green slow poison, blue cure disease, indigo resist cold, and violet remove paralysis. Paralysis. Wow. The effect of each draught consumed will be as if hold on. The effects of each draught consumed will be as if the appropriate spell has been cast by a cleric of 12th level. Nice. and these effects will persist after the duration of the spell expires. So cool. You can use these, definitely have these ready to go, have the spell trigger it if something happens, and you have these to do it. The components of the spell are a cleric's holy or unholy symbol, and a vial of holy or unholy water. If no rainbow is in the vicinity, the cleric substitute a diamond of not less than 1,000 gold piece value, specifically prepared by him or her in the sight of a rainbow by casting a bless and prayer upon the gem. Only the holy symbol remains after the spell is cast. So, again, if you don't have rainbows or your DM doesn't worry about weather in the game, the spell is kind of useless. And then say the DM gives you the rainbow, you have to have this diamond of 1,000 gold piece value that you can bless and pray upon with holy water and everything to get it prepared for later on. If you don't have the money for it, which I think you would by the time you have the spell, you should be fine. But I just think that it relies a lot upon a DM and the weather situation. And I know a lot of times in my games I do forget about weather, and I try to remember by writing notes down by saying it's raining or it's foggy or something like that. It's very important to give the players that idea of what's going on, because it's always good to give a little flavor to the game. Tell me what you think about this spell. I'm interested to see what you think. Write in the comments below on Spotify or on YouTube. And if you want to ask me a question, ask the DM at evoldm.com or the evoldm.com is my website. I'm tongue twisted this morning. It's early and I'm tired. I apologize. With that said, I'm going to head out. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night. God bless, and keep those AD&D fires lit. Good night.